Hi guys, my name is Hugo. I am a designer, a developer, a full-time dad. I'm going to show you how to think about HTML as you're building it through the wireframe process. We're using Figma to demonstrate the box model of building a website or building the HTML structure. As I'm building it, I will also kind of touch on how the HTML should be and how it should look. First thing I'm going to say is the way you want to think about HTML is really the box model, meaning everything you create, whether it's text, container, a image, everything is a box, and you should think about it that way. There are many places you can learn HTML. For instance, you can go to W3 Schools. There you can learn how to write the markup, the language itself. It has a lot of information about each element and what it's about, how you can use it. Another thing that I would recommend for you is definitely go into codeacademy.com. It's a good site. It's a good place to start. It also has a different format of teaching you. So you will need Figma. There is a website for that. You can download it. It's free right now for any students out there. It's definitely free. It's also free right now for anyone that's just willing to try it out. We're going to be building from mobile first because really that's the right process of building a website. You do not start in the desktop. You start in the mobile first option and you build from there and go up. For the demonstration and not to extend this video further than it already is, we're going to do mobile and then we're going to do desktop. A few things to keep in mind. We will be using the bootstrap grid system. You won't necessarily need to understand it completely, but it is a good place to start as far as the column structure. It'll make sense in the next video when we start building the HTML. Okay, so let's jump to it. I am going to open up Figma on my desktop. Feel free to follow. This is my desktop app, but you can definitely use the web version. Okay, we're going to create a box. In that box, we're going to show the grid. So that'll be Shift G, I believe. Shift G. Or is it Apple G? Oh, Apple G. Okay, so you can see here, we're going to do a desktop. Let's do iPhone 7 Plus, sounds good to me. Let's add a grid. Grid 5 columns. Really should be 12. That's what they asked for, but usually it's 12 on a desktop. Let's see what it looks like on desktop. Desktop is 1400. Sure, that's fine. We can do gutter 30. And let's constrain this to the center, and that's fine. And we're okay that. Let's change the colors on the grid. I would like something a little more, a little less intrusive, I think. I don't know. Purple sounds good. Always used to that purple from Illustrator. Alright, that sounds good. Now we'll turn this back to the mobile version. 7 Plus. So here we go. It's cropped it down to what size would this be? Let's resize that box to see what size a iPhone would be. So that's 400, right? 414 by 373. The one thing I did forget, let me see if it's here. 30 with offset. Does it have a margin? Doesn't have a margin. I believe Bootstrap has a margin, so Dexter. Oh, what is this? Okay, first we gotta select the desktop. Desktop is correct. It's fine over here. There was something. So if this is 930, should be 960, of course, because there's gutters on the other side as well. So let's see what this is. 1024 with a what? Oh, 50, right? Offset. 15. Got it. Okay. Alright, so let me just do this again. So let's open up Figma. Ready? All right. There you go. First thing I want to do is create, I guess, our first box. Apple G. We'll open up our grid. Let's start with the desktop HD, which is 14 by 1024. It's pretty large. And we can see it here. For the most part, we're going to probably do a 960. So somewhere in the center here. Excuse me. Let's add a grid. 5. No way. It has to be 12. Definitely 30. And we wanna, okay, the width, correct. Let's go with left. Offset definitely like 15, so it goes 30 on both sides. You can see here, this is pretty much how it should look. Okay. But of course we are going to create in a desktop, in an iPhone 7 environment. And there goes our grid system. Cut down a little bit, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an iPhone. Okay. That should be okay, I think. That should be fine. And we're gonna start here. So basically what you want to do now is, let me lock this grid, this desktop here. We add another piece. We'll add a header. Let's turn that a nice red, dark red. And then that dark red, again, this is the box system, so everything you're gonna see is a box, and you should consider everything a box. Then we're gonna put in there a image. I don't think I could type in this. Nope. Okay, cool. So just to represent this as an image, the logo will be here. Logo. All right, and then we're gonna put our what should be a box here of, it could be bars, it could be the text menu. Could be a lot of things once you get to the visual aspect of it all. But I am going through a standard process. So you can see it's a box, box, box. So the parent box has 2 children in there. All right. Now we're going to move to the next component. next component would be what Bootstrap considered a Jumbotron. And what that means is pretty much it's just the place where you will tell the viewer where they are and what you want them to do. So let's start with some text. You are here. Join us in learning how HTML is built. Okay. And we'll put that over here. Again, it's another box. Even though it's text, you should also consider that its own box. And let's bring that up to a 36. That's too large, I would think. Let's do 24. And of course, we're going to change the color because we can't really see it. Okay, that really should be even larger, I think. Put 24. Yep. And we're not going to be designers right now, but definitely want to make this stand out more. And here you would give it, you know, a button or something that says and that should be a call to action, so let's make it stand out. And let's add a little piece of text down here. You must learn. Your call to action. Yeah. Let's make that 18. And I don't know what happened there. Must have added something else. You must learn. Cool, right? And of course, if you want to entice them a little more, you can put a image either behind it. So basically, now you can even add a graphic, more information. I like to have some fun, so let's put a graphic right here. Maybe of people doing something. In reality, I think we should actually build it, put it right below that to kind of support our statement. Something fun. Maybe this could be like a. This could be someone speaking. This could be a nice graphic displaying, displaying someone learning, maybe my kid learning. Yeah, we can do that. So let's see if we can bring in an image. Okay, resize this. Can we do a mask? I believe you can. I saw somewhere on here. Use mask. No, this guy will be the mask. Mask it. Did I mask it? Do I have to select this first? And this? This. Mask. I don't get it. Who goes first? Alright, let me try it again. Mask. Okay, cool. Alright. So there he is, learning some code. Alright, so that's your first component, the Jumbotron. Let's move on to another one. Maybe this is about, what would it be for the website? maybe this is about, and let me make this a little longer. Obviously the site is small, we shouldn't. Let's go back up here. The height, let's do a 2000. All right, there you go. That's our frame. And the first square, which is our background, should be height 2000. Do it. All right, cool. Yes, so let's add another component. That component can be, because we're learning a HTML, let's add a background to this. Something cool. Something cool. Something yellow. All right, since we're gonna follow that same pattern, we'll add this yellow, and this yellow is so bright it's gonna say, it's gonna demonstrate other things. So services, let's say we had services. This is our business now. So our services, cool. And let's make it nicely clean. And our services should be 24. Let's expand all the way across, I would think. Okay. And then we're going to add your services, and maybe that's in a nice cool box, and it has a paragraph. So hold on while I get some Greek. So let's go get some Greek from the web. Paragraph, number of paragraphs, just one. Generate. Let's take that, bring it back over here. We'll open up a paragraph box. Obviously this is too big. Let's go down to 12. Can we mask itself? No. All right. Extend that. And that's our first service. Our services include lorem ipsum. That's our service. That's our first box. And it tells it all. All right. So that's the first component. Let's try another component. And that could be about me, right? Let's copy the same structure that already exists. About me. And again, maybe a little more information. We don't have to pound it by another box, but the same thing. This is about Hugo and who he is. All right. And of course, you can't go anywhere without putting a face of that person you're talking about. So let's make it cool. Let's put a little. And even the box you see there, even if it's a circle, you kind of can see there that it's still a box. Cool. There you go. It's about Hugo, this guy. Extend that box a little more. Extend it about there. All right. And what else can we add to our website? What else would be cool to add? Here, we can add my background. You know, right? Who is this guy? What does he do? You know, maybe the best way to do it is check out my LinkedIn. And then we can have a nice cool button to the LinkedIn. You know, and we can make that red. Or actually we should do it the blue for LinkedIn so people know. You know, click on his profile. LinkedIn profile. You know, that could be something that sends them to my profile on LinkedIn. Okay. And what would we have here? Like, is there something cool from LinkedIn? Linked. Linked. That's how you spell LinkedIn? Let me look it up. Linked. Yeah, let's LinkedIn. Okay. We can add this section here. I think it'd be cool. Alright, let's see. Where that screenshot went. Kind of redundant though. Since I already have a picture of myself there, what do I need another one for? Because I'm a narcissist. Makes sense. Now, think about this. This button is a little too small for a person that's on a phone to see. So let's make sure it's across the whole thing. They don't miss it. All right, that's pretty much it. And now let's build our footer. Simple footer. Now footer is just gonna say, you know, copyright at whatever it might be. Or what we can also do, just to have fun, I guess, since you came and visited me. Hey, where'd you go? Check out my. For some reason, this guy came out the group, so let's put him back in the group. And we'll say, thank you for watching me. Copyright Hugo. Not at, it's a C. I don't know where I don't even get that. But copyright Hugo. Yeah, let's make that white. And since it's not that important, we'll drop it down in size. And that's a footer. Okay. Alright, so this is pretty basic. I mean, it's nothing dramatic here. The one thing I'm going to show you is, let's go back to our introduction to HTML. Here it is. So basically, what you have when you create your doc, you definitely want to create these items first. I think they also make the doc type. Yep, they missed the doc type, but yeah, you'll put in the doc type first. You'll wrap your elements into this HTML. Your head will have the information that you need about your website, and the body. And this is where we're going to put in our information that we just built. Okay, so the body is the most important piece. You can pretty much copy exactly what this is right here, and I'm sure they have a demonstration here somewhere. Okay, but this is what we'll put in. Everything you saw that we just built will go in the body section. Okay, but you'll still need these items. So let's do that. Let's go back to. All right, so let's start at the header. The header is a navigation. It's a nav, okay, and that is your parent element. And in that nav, there's an image, or we should wrap that in a div, I think. Okay. And that div, that box right there, contains an image, img for image, and it's called logo. Okay, so nav is this red box, the div is in here that's holding this image called logo. And of course it could be a JPEG, GIF, PNG, SVG, whatever you desire. Okay, and again, in that red box, we're going to put another icon or div. And that div is going to contain there's a few things you could put in here. In our case, we just put a text called menu. So we'll create a span. Oh, I'm writing it, sorry. A span. And that span is a box that contains text. Called menu. Got it? I hope that makes sense. So the nav is this red box, the div is this div, and the div is holding an image of a logo. And then we go to this box on the right side. That's a div holding a span, and that span is holding this text called menu. Got it? And then we close it up with a nav. So this is your menu. It's much more simple, right, than you thought. So we'll put this bad boy right here, just so we get over there. All right. Let's now move over to the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron is just a large div. Typically what I like to do is any sections, I start to create a section tag. Okay, so the parent is section. And because this is our first introduction to the website and is the most important piece, we'll wrap that in a tag called an H1, heading 1. Okay, so that heading 1, it has a text that says you are here, right? And in that, under that, you have a P that has join us and everything else that goes in there. All right, and right under there is a and again, you may have to wrap some of these things. For instance, this here is standing alone. I would probably suggest we wrap it in a div. Whether you use it or not, it doesn't matter. It's always good to have for later use. Okay, so then we'll wrap the same thing we'll do with this image, an IMG, and that IMG is of my son on a computer. Okay, div. And that's it. And then we'll go to the next one, which is a button. There are a few things you can do with a button. You can actually use a tag called button, or you can use an href or a tag, an anchor tag. We could do that here for demonstration purposes. We'll keep it simple. So let me open this up a little more. A ref contains, and that's a wrap. Okay, it has a beginning and end. A has a text that says you must learn. And that's it. Our section ends right here. Let me try to set these where they belong. I'm doing too much right now. Okay, you get the picture. Section, this section here contains a div that holds a h1 tag and a p tag, and then the next div or container holds an image that's of my son, and then the next one is a button represented by h or an anchor tag, and that has a text that says you must learn, and then we close this section. Voila. All right, and the next piece is kind of similar. It's, let me just bring this info, this tag over here. All right, same thing. This is wrapped in a section because it's its own section, and we'll space it down to section. And in that section, there is a heading, which we could wrap it in a div, but you don't have to because it's its own unique thing. But just to kind of enforce the box thing, we'll create a div for it in case we decide to do something special with it later. Okay. Obviously, we don't have a full design set for it yet, so you don't know what you need, but you'll be here. Now, because you already set the tree to have its own H1, you can definitely use an H2 to represent secondary information. And in there, we'll have the our services text. The next one is another box we have, so we definitely want to create another container, a div container, and in there we'll have a paragraph tag. So the P has text. P has text. That's lorem ipsum. Whatever's in there. All right, and then that's it. You close that section up, and that's as simple as it's gonna get. All right, let me clean this up a little so you can see it a little better. Let me just review this piece again, okay? So this yellow box is your section. Within that yellow box is a div, this big div, and that div contains a headline 2 called out services. All right, and inside of that there's another div, and in that div is a paragraph tag that holds this lorem ipsum. Does that make sense? Great. Okay, cool. So let's bring it down to the next section. All right. All right, we left this one a little empty, or we must have lost something here. Okay, let's copy some of this text over here since I think I lost some of it. And this is not any different than what we already did, okay? So this section contains a div container, and that div container has an H2 heading, secondary heading of about me. All right, and then we're gonna create another div. We're gonna create a div that holds both of these items, but then divs that have them split up into boxes, okay? Because this is this box and this is another box, but we want to keep it in its own little row. That'll make sense right now. Just give me a second. So this div, and then in there we're going to give it children. So div, 2 children, div. Okay, 2 children that have, one has a paragraph tag. I think you can get it from here. Text is lorem. Okay, and the next one is another div. So there's 2. I don't want to confuse anybody. There's 1 and there's 2. Did I miss something here? Did I miss something here? Where is the parent to that? Oh, I guess I never put the parent down. Hello? Is it facing up on me? Alright. So we have one div and a div container. I don't know why we have two there. So this div container is going to contain these two divs, and that div contains an image, img circle image. All right. Let me clean this up a little. It's a little messy right now. I want to give as much space as possible. Okay, so let me review this. This section represents this yellow box, and in that yellow box, there's a div right off the bat, right here, that contains a heading 2 with text about me. And in that, and what we wanted to do was create a div container. What we wanted to do is create a div container that holds two other div containers in it. So I believe it's hard to show you here without writing the code, but it's, yeah, you'll get it. All right, so there it goes. So the div right here represents these two together, this box that's holding both of them. You see it? And then we have another div for this box. So this box is another div that contains a paragraph of Laurie Epsom. Okay, and then we go to the next div, which is this one right here, and it's also a square. So it's a div box, and then there is an image that has a radius to make it round. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. And then we'll go to the next one, which again is much more simple than before. And it's almost redundant how much you write again and again. So there's going to be one div container, and that div container has your h2, and it has the text called check out my LinkedIn. That's why they put it like this. That's what looks different. And then there's another div container, and in that container is another image of a screenshot you took. No biggie. And then there's another div that holds a anchor key, an anchor or button, an anchor tag, and the anchor tag has to be wrapped because in there you're gonna put text that says linked in profile, and of course it's a hyper tag because you gotta make it a button to link somewhere else. And that's pretty much it on that. So let me review that section. Yellow, the section is that yellow part that goes around. The div container holds this box right here. See this box? And it has text called check out my LinkedIn. And within that there's another box that's another div with an image inside of it. And then we go to a div down here that contains an a tag with a LinkedIn profile. And honestly, to be honest with you, you could keep the div, but you may not need it. This is self-contained, the anchor link, so you don't even need to have that. This could be self-contained in its own way. It's its own box, I guess you could say. All right, and then we go to the last one, which is your footer. Just like nav on top or navigation has its own tags, so does footer nowadays. So in reality, you don't need to use this section. You call it footer. That's its own wrapper. And in that wrapper, most people put links and stuff like that. We did it simple. We put in some tag. For this one, you could use H3, H4, H5, whatever it might be. It's not as important. I'll do H5 for just for the heck of it. And that H5 contains a tag, text that says, "Thank you for watching me. Yay!" And then below that, you could put, you know, a link maybe to your website, just a regular text. Because it's not important to me, I'll put maybe an A6 or A7 on it. And I think A6 is probably the most you should go anyway. And that text says copy. That's it. And that's your footer. Nope, not complicated at all. HTML is pretty simple. It's just the thought you put behind it that really matters. You really want to think about how you're placing these items and how you're placing them, because when you start designing it, of course, it's going to be a lot more complicated because you're going to be adding style into it. But for now, you want to keep it as simple as possible. Nice, clean shapes. You know, to the thought, the idea here when creating a wireframe, and I'm not going to go into too much into that, is to really think about where things are being placed. Okay, so that's your mobile. Now the desktop, and I'm going to try to get through this a little quicker, is pretty much almost the same. You're not taking much away from your structure here. So let's move this a little bit to the left, to the right, to the left, to the left, just to give us our spacing. And what we're going to do is go to our group, and we're going to open this up to your, why is this here? Weird. All right. We're going to open this up to our desktop in HD. So now you see it gets a little bit more cut because of what we're trying to do. So desktop HD 1024. We had 2000 on it. Let's see if that's good enough at this point. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, same thing. You're gonna do. We have two columns. 15 each. Yep. Offset 15. Yep, that's great. Okay. Is that HD? Yeah, let's do HD. Let's do 2000. And we're not going to use a fluid system, so and you don't want to put on the left ever. So a word for the mobile, yes, because it's getting everything on the right side is not empty space. But if you were going to use a fluid, you would do stretch, so you'll have 12 across. We're not building that way, so you don't have to. We're going to build it using a center, which is a more or less a is there something locked here? Yeah, there it is. We're going to use the 960 from Bootstrap, so let me just show you what that means. Bootstrap column width. I think I looked it up yesterday. Yep, grid system. Alright, let me see if they have the information. Yep, so 960 is large, which is what we're going to build it on. So let's see, 960. I already had it, 960. Great. Perfect. And of course we have it to 2000, which we don't need, but just for the hell of it, we'll do that. Alright. And just to show you what it looks like without the grid, so you can see that we actually did something kind of cool. We'll hide this for a little bit, and we'll take this guy away. There it goes. This pretty much is your phone. I think it was kind of cool. It could be a sight of stone. Alright, let's add those things back. Oh, sorry. Cool. So again, we have it on the what is this over here? Oh, I guess I created it my own. No worries. Let's get that guy out of there. So now we take what we already built and we're gonna stretch it across the site. Did I lose something here? Yeah, this guy, this bad boy. I don't know why he shrank. We gotta go to 960, you remember. All right, 960 it is. 2000 it goes, and put this bad boy all the way at the bottom because we don't need him. He's just our background. All right, so let's start stretching this bad boys out. We want to start right there, and we want to go 960 with 60. All right. Some websites do use a button to open up a menu. You can use that, but just to keep it simple, and well, actually to keep it simple would mean I keep that there. We can do that, I guess. Most people will create a modo and click that modo and it'll open it up, or a drop down or whatever it might be. Some people are used to seeing something like this. So, and then the button would disappear. It's really a preference. For the time's sakes, I'll do a simple header there. So we'll build this bad boy over here. Well, now you're noticing that we have more space and it's starting to be like blank, right? No worries, because we built it so it's has some column structure and we're good. We can expand it out. This guy will stay on 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 on the columns. Let's see, 6 right there. And these guys can even stretch out themselves too. 6, have some space there. We could bring them up on text sizing. Now that they're big time. So we can get that guy to 36, and we can get this bad boy to 48. All right. And you can place it wherever you like. This one's a little too crowded. Let's put it somewhere in the middle somewhere. Here. Okay. And we're gonna stretch these bad boys out. Notice that we're not changing the HTML at all. I don't know if you realize that, but we're not changing anything that we've created as far as the HTML. It's literally translating the same way you built it on mobile, and that's what they mean when they say mobile first. Because you want to design it on mobile, because that's primarily where people are going to see your website or interact with it. Not to say that you can't alter the HTML or add additional information once you're here, but not necessary, I guess you could say too. This obviously looks awful. There'll be some stuff that I think you got to think about when creating something like this. Additional information, or something else. That looks weird. Not much thought was put into this, of course, but we can work with it. And most of the time, as a designer, that's what you're going to be told to do. Work with it. And that's where you become more creative, once you start messing with things. I gotta say, this tool is kind of neat. Very close to Photoshop almost. All right, let's put out the grid system to see what it looks like. And bon voyage. Oh wait, I think that's goodbye. There goes your website. This is literally your website. It's kind of cool. So Figma has this share option here, and I'll just copy the link, bring it to my Chrome, paste it, and let's see what it looks like. And you can show it to people. Kind of cool. So here's your website, what it would look like on a 960 grid. Here you go. We didn't change any of the HTML. If it goes to the it tells you that someone's in it. It's funny. It's cool. All right. Well, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, the next thing we're gonna do is work on building this out in clean HTML first and seeing how it looks, and then adding your bootstraps to it. Got it? Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.